Not to Sound Vulgar by Seray Sahiner. God decides what work you'll do. He writes it in your heart. Not to sound vulgar, but when your mother gives birth to you, your fate is decided. What was I saying? Right. When you're born. Hey, Selma, is the tea ready yet? That's what Selma's father was saying. He played the darbuka for a living. Well, he had in the past. People called him Recep the Kite, because when he played, his fingers fluttered across the head of the drum like a kite snapping in the wind. Things weren't always like this. People don't ask me to play anymore, all because I lost a finger. A finger! What's the big deal? If a kite loses its tail, it can still fly, right? And it's not like I asked for it to happen. It was an accident. I was chopping some wood and... Well, I know it's not my place to question God's ways, but I wish I'd lost a toe instead. I could do without a toe. I mean, I'm not in the army, right? What's a toe to me? Still, I am thankful that I only lost one finger and I have 9 more. But playing the darbuka isn't just about the fingers. I started off by playing the bendir. When you hit the drum, you've got to do it like this. Recep the Kite cupped his right hand, tucking what remained of his index finger into his palm, and swung it through the air as if hitting the head of a drum. When Tahir showed up that day, Recep had thought, I can only pray he's here to ask me to help out with a show. Tahir caught on to where Recep the Kite was going with the conversation and tried to steer it away. Spot on, Tahir said. It is all about the rhythm. You know our darbuka player, Aladdin? We call him Magic Fingers. His fingers really are magic, the way he rolls them across the drum. Recep the Kite's mood soured. Yeah, he said, the kid's not bad, but he wasn't about to let on that upstart Aladdin had any competition on him. His heart isn't in the music, though. I mean, when I was young, they'd say to me, hey, Kite, go get your bendir. That's all you'll need. And what would I do? I'd bring my castanets, my darbuka, tambourine, everything I had, because you never know what you might need. I played them all. Rhythm. That's what it's about. Not a soul on this planet could ever say that I lost the beat of a song. If you don't believe me, go ask the greats. Kibaria, Aishan Aisan, Adnam Senses, though he is in his grave. They'll tell you I was the best. Don't get me wrong, but not everyone can play for such legends. You've got to give them the right beat so that they can sing along. You know, he said, open his eyes like a newborn baby. Not to sound vulgar, but when your mother gives birth to you, that's it. Your fate is sealed. God decides right then and there what you're going to do in life. He writes it into your heart. That's what the kite was saying. Wherever he was going to say something like, when a mother gives birth, he'd always start off with, not to sound vulgar, but especially if his wife or daughter were around and there was a man in their midst, even if he was a neighbour or someone they knew. That's because the word birth conjured up in his mind's eye a crotch shot of a woman having a baby. It was the same when he said the word huge, because he'd suddenly imagine a massive penis. So first he'd say, not to sound vulgar, but... Recep, do you have 10 lira? I'm going to call over the butcher. That was Selma's mother talking. Woman, enough already. It's always money with you. That was Selma's father talking. Tahir, would you like some tea? That was Selma talking. Tahir looked at Recep. So, let me tell you why I'm here. One of the girls who danced with our group quit on us. Selma knew the story. Out of jealousy, her mother had said to her father, "Recep, if you play for that belly dancer one more time, I swear you'll never set foot in this house ever again." So Kite, Tahir said, "I was thinking, what if Selma came and danced?" "Well, Tahir, I'm not so sure about that. You know that we don't send her out to dance much anymore. It's a clean gig, a business dinner for a pharmaceutical company at a hotel. You know everyone in our group? Magic Fingers Aladdin, Fran the Bloodsucker, Raza the Stovepipe, me. Amel will be dancing, and Selma will too. Of course, that is, if you let her come. Raza will drive us there and bring us back in his car. Real swish. Couldn't be a sweeter deal." "How much are they paying?" 600. Works out to 100 apiece." "That's not much if you ask me. Look, Kite, I'm the soloist, and I'm going to get the same as Selma, and she'll get her tips too. It's all bread on the table. So what do you say?" Recep glanced at Selma as if to say, "What do you think?" She shrugged indifferently. She knew the racket about tips. At the end of the night, she'd have to lay out the tips that the customers had tucked into her bra and waistband so they could be shared out with the band. That is, except for the bills she managed to hide deeper in her bra. Those were her personal share of the profits. "So, what do you say, Kite?" "It's up to her. She can go if she wants." "All right then, Selma. We'll pick you up at 3:00. Selma's mother poked her head out of the kitchen. "Recep, do you have 10 lira? I'm going to call over the butcher." "Woman, I said enough. It's always money with you." As Tahir was getting up to leave, Recep the Kite said, "What's the rush? The wife's about to throw something together to eat." "It's better I get going. I have to check in on Magic Fingers to make sure he's fit to play tomorrow. You know, he's getting hitched next week. His wife-to-be isn't going to let him drink after they, well, not to sound vulgar, but spend their first night together. So he's been drinking day and night. We call him Magic Fingers Aladdin, right? Well, these days he's been flying around on his magic carpet a little bit too much." The next day, as the rhythmic Romany orchestra was waiting in the hotel lobby with Selma and Amel, a bellboy approached and said, "You can go down to the spa now." The musicians looked at each other in confusion. "The spa?" Tahir explained. "It's like a sauna, but with massage." His eyes lighting up, Magic Fingers said, "Massage? Ha! They treat us like kings in this place. Tahir, good on you." The bellboy led them down 2 flights of stairs and opened the door to the spa room. "It's empty for now. The manager said you can use it as a changing room." Steam billowed into their faces as they walked inside. "Wait, we're supposed to change in here?" As he started unbuttoning his shirt, Stovepipe Raza, who got that nickname because he smoked like a chimney, said, "I can't stay in here. I've got asthma." "Tahir, you said there'd be massage. This is more like a boiler room." Tahir went out. When he came back, he saw that Raza was taking a deep pull on his inhaler. Tahir said, "There's no one around except some Asian girls. Filipino, maybe, or Korean. I guess they work here, but they can't understand a thing I say." Raza's face was covered in red blotches. He said, "I can't stay in here another minute." And then he collapsed in a heap. Selma and Amel put on their belly dance outfits in the hotel restroom. As they were walking down the hallway with shawls thrown over their shoulders, the head waiter saw them. Scowling, he walked up to them and said, "The restrooms on this floor are off limits to you." Selma merely nodded, when he went on to say that they weren't allowed to walk around the hotel or eat at the hotel's restaurant either. As she stormed off with Amel in tow, Selma said, "As if the guests here crap golden eggs. Why can't we use the same bathroom as them? In the one night, I make more tips than that shithead of a waiter could ever dream of making, even if he worked his fingers to the bone. All I have to do is shake my arse. Emil said, and we get all the applause. The customers even put their clips of us online. No one gives a shit about the waiters. After the spa room crisis, the rhythmic Romany orchestra was relocated to one of the hotel's meeting rooms. Selma and Emil walked in. The members of the band were all wearing sequined shirts, bow ties and cotton trousers. Now somewhat recovered, Stovepipe Razza was leaning back in a chair with his feet propped on the table. Selma laughed. So, Stovepipe, are you the CEO of this place now or what? In the meantime, Magic Fingers was shouting into his phone, the veins bulging in his neck. Now look, we've already sent out the invitations. Hello? Hello? He tossed his phone onto the table, muttering, as if you'd even seen a Swarovski phone case before I came along. I get you one, and now you think you can hang up on me? Hey, Magic, what's going on? It's my fiancé's mother. She broke off the engagement. What? I had it all set up. A band from Kunkapi was going to play at the wedding. Now she, the mother-in-law, is saying that they can only play along with the musicians from Sululukil, especially the clarinet player. I mean, really, is that any reason to call off a wedding? Irfan the bloodsucker, who was the band's clarinetist, frowned. So, it's all my fault they broke it off. Magic, I'm sorry, but that mother-in-law of yours doesn't know a damn thing about music. That's not even the point. Only the bride can call off a wedding, right? So she calls me and she says her mum's breaking it off. What the fuck? What the hell did I buy her a damn Swarovski phone case just so she could hang up on me? He lit a cigarette. And I redid the house and everything. We told you not to spend so much money. Back in my village, in Babeski, if a guy gets married, it doesn't matter if he lives in a shack. He'll do what it takes to fix it up right. I mean, what do you expect? In a place like Istanbul, am I going to have my bride piss in a 30-year-old crapper? Seriously, who would do a thing like that? Taking a long drag on his cigarette, he went on. Tahir, tell one of the waiters to bring us a bottle of raka. You think these guys are going to give us a bottle? Selma cut in. They haven't even brought us anything to eat yet. Magic Fingers said, there's no way I'm going to be able to play today without knocking back a few glasses first. This is their problem, not mine. I've had it with this place. I'm out of here. Tahir gently pushed him back into his chair. Just hang on. I'll get it sorted out. 10 minutes later, Tahir returned carrying a black plastic bag. He pulled out a bottle of raka, which was wrapped in newspapers. How the hell did you manage that? These penny pinchers are even making us pay for the damn water we drink. That was Selma. I got it from a shop around the corner. We'll cut the cost from the tips. In that case, pour me and Emil a double each, since we're the ones who make the tips in the first place. As Tahir was taking out some plastic cups, the door of the meeting room swung open. Quickly, he tucked the bottle of raka under a darbuka case. A waiter came in carrying a plastic bag. He said, here's some food. The manager said you're not supposed to go into the restaurant, so eat here. As the waiter set the bag on the table, Tahir sneered, well, well, send our thanks to Mr. Manager. The waiter left. Stovepipe Razza opened the bag. I am never coming back to this place again. What the hell is this? Cheese sandwiches? Tahir said, look at it this way. They were kind enough to bring us some cheese to eat with our raka. What else could you ask for? After spreading the newspaper on the table, Tahir opened the sandwiches one by one, taking out the cheese and green peppers. Then he filled each cup halfway with raka and then topped them off with water. Raising his cup, he said, "Here's to Magic Fingers Aladdin." The tables in the dining hall were full, and the waiters had started serving the guests. The band finished its first song, and as they started playing the next one, Tahir grabbed the microphone and said, "The Rhythmic Romany Orchestra would like to welcome you all here tonight. And now, let's hear it for our neighbourhood's most beautiful women." Magic Fingers Aladdin started playing a slow Romany beat, his fingers flickering across the head of the darbuka. Rum kaka rock kaka tata tata dom, ka rom rom rocka tata 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 dom too. Then the rest of the band joined in, instrument by instrument, and Selma and Amel entered from opposite sides of the dining hall, stepping to the beat of the music. A roar of applause. When Selma danced, she never gave the impression that she was dancing for the sake of tips. It was more like she was doing the audience a favour by being there. Each step was personalised, decisive, premeditated, as if she was driving a hard bargain that she knew she'd win. Her dancing was not the kind to inspire the people in the audience to stagger to their feet and try to show off how well they thought they could dance. Just like her father never missed a beat, Selma responded to every snap of the drum with a swish of her hips, and her body quivered with each roll on the darbuka. Once they reached the centre of the stage, Selma and Amel started dancing side by side, holding to a steady, unhurried rhythm. They danced with such subtle poise that none of the women in the audience could have kept up with their steps, no matter how hard they tried. Then they began making their way between the tables, exchanging glances with whoever seemed to have the deepest pockets and spending more time dancing in front of them than the others. The big shots would pull out a 20 and tuck them in the waistband of their skirts, or slip a 50 note into their bra, all depending on how much they felt they needed to impress the others sitting at their tables. Selma was getting thirsty. She knew she wasn't allowed to talk to the waiters when she was dancing, so she picked out a woman who was clapping loudly along with the music and led her on stage. When that woman started dancing, others got up the courage to join her. Now that they were dancing too, the men had no choice but to turn their attention from Selma and Amel to their wives on the dance floor. And then the waiters were distracted as well. That's when Selma sidled up to a waiter and said, "Let me have some water." "I can't," he said. "It's against the rules. If I do, they'll make me pay for it." "Just for some water? Look, I'll pay." "You don't have a tab, so I'll have to cover. 5 lira. That's more than I make in an hour." Tahir said into the microphone, "Let's hear a round of applause for the prettiest girls of the night." Selma started dancing next to a group of people seated near the stage. When the big shot at the table tucked a 100 lira note into her bra, she leaned down in front of him, rolling her shoulders to the rhythm of the music. Glancing at the waiter, she picked up a full glass of water from the table. As the waiter started angrily picking his way through the crowd towards her, Selma placed the glass of water on top of her head. The waiter stopped. She continued dancing with a glass balanced on her head, taking small steps left and right, keeping her head perfectly still as she swung her hips and shook her shoulders in time with a rat-tat-tat of the drums. The guests who were dancing stopped to watch her, waiting to see if the glass would fall. When Magic Fingers Aladdin glided into a long roll on his darbuka, Selma followed his lead, sending a tremor running down from her shoulders to her breasts, and belly and hips, and then back up again, all without spilling a drop from the glass. Everyone in the dining hall broke into applause. Staring the waiter in the eyes, Selma took hold of the glass of water, and after holding it out in salutation to the audience, she drank it down in one gulp.